Something unexpected happened while the world watched President Trump's high-profile visit to Beijing. The biggest long-term energy story may not have emerged from China at all. Instead, Canada accelerated plans that could eventually redirect massive volumes of oil toward Asia, challenging a pricing advantage American refiners have enjoyed for decades. Meanwhile, U.S. strategic reserves remain historically low as electricity demand surges from AI infrastructure and data centers. Welcome back to your ultimate pit stop, Piston Pundit. Today, we examine the developments that could reshape North America's energy landscape and alter the balance of power in global energy markets. Beijing Summit. Big expectations, few major results. Before examining Canada's energy strategy, we need to start with Trump's visit to Beijing. The summit generated enormous expectations across manufacturing, agriculture, technology, and energy sectors. Many hoped for progress on tariffs, rare earth mineral supply chains, exports, and broader trade relations between the world's two largest economies. Instead, the results appeared modest. China's commitment to purchase Boeing aircraft provided a welcome boost for America's aerospace sector, but many of the larger issues remained unresolved. No sweeping tariff agreement emerged, uncertainty surrounding supply chains continued, and businesses still lacked clarity regarding future trade policy. Supporters viewed continued dialogue as valuable diplomacy, while critics argued the trip delivered more symbolism than substance. Investors largely adopted a cautious wait-and-see approach. But while Beijing dominated headlines, a much bigger energy story was quietly unfolding much closer to home. Canada's pipeline push, America's oil discount at risk. For years, American refiners benefited from Canada's limited export options. Canada possesses some of the world's largest proven oil reserves, yet most of its crude flowed almost exclusively to U.S. refineries. That dependence often forced Western Canadian Select crude to trade well below West Texas Intermediate prices, creating a valuable cost advantage for American buyers. Depending on market conditions, that discount frequently reflected Canada's lack of alternative export routes rather than oil quality alone. Now, Canada wants greater flexibility. Prime Minister Mark Carney and Alberta Premier Danielle Smith have advanced a proposed West Coast pipeline capable of eventually moving more than 1 million barrels of oil per day toward Pacific markets. Combined with expanded trans-mountain capacity, Canada is steadily increasing access to overseas customers, giving producers more leverage and reducing reliance on a single buyer. But pipelines are only valuable if someone is willing to buy the oil, and Asia is becoming increasingly interested. Asia beckons. Canada's energy influence rapidly expands. Oil is only part of the story. Canada is also becoming a more significant player in the global liquefied natural gas market. LNG Canada recently surpassed 1 million metric tons of exports in a single month, marking a major milestone for the country's energy ambitions. Additional LNG projects remain under development along the Pacific coast, potentially positioning Canada among the world's leading LNG exporters in the coming decades. Asian economies continue demanding enormous amounts of energy to support manufacturing, industrial expansion, urbanization, and rising living standards. Canada offers abundant reserves, political stability, modern infrastructure, and direct Pacific shipping access. Every new export route strengthens Canada's bargaining position, expands its global reach, and reduces dependence on American demand. And Canada's growing reach overseas raises an important question. What does all of this mean for America's own energy position? Before we continue, take a second to hit like and subscribe to Piston Pundit. It helps us bring you more automotive, energy, and industry analysis. Now the story shifts back to the United States. Strategic reserves. America's energy buffer keeps shrinking. As Canada expands its access to global energy markets, the United States faces important questions about long-term fuel security. One area drawing increased attention is the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, the emergency stockpile established after the energy crises of the 1970s. Although recent reporting does not confirm a new 40-year low, reserve inventories remain significantly below historical peaks following major emergency releases. The SPR serves as a critical insurance policy against wars, natural disasters, shipping disruptions, and geopolitical crises. Rebuilding inventories could prove challenging if oil prices remain elevated and global supplies remain uncertain. For drivers, trucking companies, manufacturers, airlines, and automakers, fuel costs continue to influence transportation expenses, production costs, and consumer spending throughout the economy. But oil isn't the only energy challenge gaining attention. Electricity demand is exploding as well. AI boom, a massive new electricity challenge. The energy conversation no longer revolves solely around oil. Artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and advanced digital services are driving a surge in electricity demand across North America. Massive data centers require extraordinary amounts of power, with some proposed campuses consuming electricity comparable to entire cities. Utilities are being forced to expand generation capacity, upgrade transmission networks, strengthen substations, and invest billions in new infrastructure. This challenge sits directly at the center of the automotive industry. Electric vehicles, battery plants, charging networks, connected car services, autonomous driving systems, and advanced software ecosystems all depend on reliable and affordable electricity. Increasingly, the question is not whether EV technology can advance, but whether the electrical grid can keep pace with the future being envisioned. And while the US works to meet rising demand, Canada is betting heavily on the electrical future. Powering Canada, the long game for industry. Canada is looking beyond oil and gas with an ambitious plan to strengthen its electrical future. Prime Minister Mark Carney's Powering Canada Strong initiative aims to double national electricity generation capacity by 2050. The strategy includes expanding generation, strengthening transmission networks, improving grid reliability, developing domestic manufacturing capabilities, and training skilled workers needed for future infrastructure projects. Canada already benefits from substantial hydroelectric, nuclear, and renewable power generation, providing a strong foundation for future growth. Small modular reactors may also become part of the mix. For automakers, battery manufacturers, and industrial investors, abundant electricity, lower emissions, and grid reliability are increasingly important factors when deciding where to invest billions in future facilities. Viewed together, these developments reveal a much larger shift taking shape across North America. Verdict: a new North American energy balance emerges. The biggest takeaway is not that Canada has suddenly overtaken the United States as North America's energy leader, nor that Trump's Beijing trip was a complete failure. The real story is that the continent's energy landscape is changing. Canada is expanding its reach through Pacific oil exports, growing LNG shipments, and ambitious electrification plans, while the United States faces challenges involving strategic oil reserves, rising electricity demand, and AI-driven infrastructure growth. The countries that secure energy supplies, export routes, and reliable power grids will hold the strongest economic advantages in the decades ahead. Do you believe Canada's new export strategy will weaken America's long-standing energy advantage? Could AI-driven electricity demand become a bigger challenge than oil supply over the next decade? And which country do you think is better positioned to lead North America's future energy economy? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective. And if you enjoyed this analysis, be sure to subscribe to Piston Pundit and turn on notifications so you never miss our next vehicle update, industry deep dive, and automotive trend report. Thank you for watching. You can now check out any of the videos on your screen. There's plenty more to explore.